I recently had a back and forth with a Muslim on my channel using the standard fare as to why the Quran is better and different from any other holy book, with information one could not possibly find in any other book at the time, and weird coincidences that really serve no prophetic purpose and only make sense in hindsight, removing their impressiveness significantly to the level of statistical normality. One argument he has used that has often been repeated is that Arabic is a deeper language than English. I've looked and looked for what the definition of a deep versus shallow language is, and they don't seem to exist, at least not in the academic terms. Deep is a term I used back in the day before we had internet, and it wasn't as common to have discussions about hypotheticals that expanded your mind. Back then, it involved contemplating infinity or if aliens existed. Now we can go into a TED Talk or listen to science or philosophy podcasts and can expand our minds with new discoveries all the time. Deep now feels very archaic, or a mindset one gets when having a conversation on weed or hallucinogens. It is more an emotional feeling of reverence and overwhelmingness of a concept without actually better understanding anything. I think this is what it means by being deeper. Muslim scriptures are read in Arabic and chants, and considered beautiful to many listeners, and they're filled with awe. However, it doesn't mean there is any more meaning in it. There are two ways a language can convey a message. Have a smaller vocabulary with a wide range of meanings for each word based on context, or have a large vocabulary to reduce ambiguity. Arabic, along with other languages, such as Chinese and Sanskrit, fall into the former category, while many of the European languages of colonialism fall into the latter. The former languages, while wide-ranging, were not exactly precise. Arabic became the lingua franca in areas beyond Arabia, but it was mostly used for trading and to learn the Quran, very similar to Chinese or Sanskrit, though Chinese writing had an extra level of depth, if you can call it that, because the writing system was designed specifically by the upper class to be confusing to prevent the commoners from getting their hands on knowledge. Something I'm surprised Mao didn't try and destroy during the Cultural Revolution and try and replace it with an alphabet similar to Korean, but then Mao and good ideas didn't always hang out together a lot. One of the few good side effects of colonialism was the impact it had on European languages. Europeans found themselves constantly in alien situations that didn't fit into their narrative and broke the limits of their language, and the only way to describe things was to repurpose an old word, but what happened more often than not was they would just add the foreign word to their vocabulary. English has the most words of any language on the planet, and thanks to being the language of the internet, is still growing by leaps and bounds. Many other languages are slowing down in their growth, or just absorbing other words the way English did. Context-heavy languages can end up being very ambiguous if the culture is changed. Most Arabic-speaking nations use and teach Quranic Arabic for political and religious uses, and their local dialects of Arabic, some so different from Quranic Arabic that it should be considered its own language, but don't for political and religious reasons. Quranic Arabic is like Koine Greek or Latin. If not used by officials, it would be a dead language. It's now called Modern Standard Arabic, taking words from other languages, becoming more and more a vocabulary language, and less a context language. It works to connect the Arabic world, but thanks to cultural changes, the layers of situational ambiguity is rising in the Quran, and a branch of Islam can translate a passage any way they want. I've seen people translate one verse in the Quran to mean that a woman must wear a full burqa, while another translation just translates as cover your breasts, and everywhere in between. The deeper language argument seems to be often repeated in parroted belief among the Muslim world with zero evidence to back it up. If you have academic research to the contrary, please post it in the below bar. Hey there, I just want to give a big thank you to Rivenwine for the Patreon pledge. Just knowing someone thinks my work is worth paying for is encouraging me to get more out. If you liked what you see from my channel, please like, subscribe, and donate to my Patreon. If you have evidence to counter anything I've said on my channel, please provide it. If you would like to see what I was doing with this channel 6 years ago, please click on the links on the screen. Thank you so much.